Today we're going to be taking a look at Mantic Terrain Crate. Now, I enjoyed their previous little projects that had to do with the dungeon game that they had, so let's see how these measure up. The little boxes are pretty cool. They come with these little dividers so you can kind of split up the box and keep your stuff all nice and organized. Cardboard is pretty sturdy, so these should last on your shelves. And they give you a little list of all the little bits and pieces that each crate has. Very nice detail with these, obviously. They have some pieces here are single pieces, some pieces that come partially assembled. Very nice stuff. Got a nice little mirror bit there. Some of these come in gray, some of these come in brown, and some of these come in kind of a goldish color, which is very interesting. I'm assuming that they want to have, just kind of a base color, so if you want to just do washes and pick out details, these are going to be super simple and easy to paint up. Some lovely armor piece here. It's very nice. A nice sword in the stone. Interesting piece, very useful. Little miner's pick there, nice little bits and pieces to go along with the railway, or rather mine track type set pieces that they have. And we have some good old-fashioned crates and barrels. Something that, you always end up having to use in your game. I always like it when they include the open barrels, because that gives you an option of making those interesting. There's some ready-made little barricades here, which are incredibly useful for most dungeon encounters. And we have some teeny tiny little rats, which actually are in scale to 28mm, and thus easily fall off your finger onto the floor. We have another barricade, this one more of stone. Very nice. We have a kind of a log barricade here, which kind of looks like a ho-ho, or like those little Debbie snack cakes. Listen, just look up a ho-ho, you'll see it. It looks exactly the same as that. I'm not making this up. It's a snack cake. It's got cream in it. My family cat used to love to eat a little cream out of the ho-hos. So there you have it. Everything fits in the terrain crate very nicely. Again, the box is going to be pretty sturdy. Let's check out the battlefield crate. These all have kind of a theme going on here. Very securely packed, which I like because there's a ton of little tiny parts in here. So as far as I was able to check, and I do check, I got everything I was supposed to get. So that's very good. I always love that when you get a big complicated set of stuff like this and nothing is missing. We got some fences and some walls. Some low walls here, that some of them in ruined. So once again, we're going to put our divider in there, and eventually I'm actually going to remove one of those to make room for the fences. And we're going to slowly pull out this big deluxe tent. Take a look at this thing. Sturdy plastic, very thick. So make a very lovely addition to any, traveling merchant or something like that. Very nice. Fits in one of the boxes in there. And we got ourselves a lovely little, maybe two-person tent. And we have a chicken on a spit. As you all know, I love little bits and pieces like this. And we have a lovely little woodcutter's station there. Very nice. All little bits and pieces, which would be, a little bit tedious to try to actually make yourself. Obviously, I think this fits in well with any terrain that you're going to make yourself, and It's just kind of an ease of use thing. I believe I'm going to take a look at the same thing. Lovely little Debbie's log pile there. Oh yes, and the little shrubbery thing, which is a nice little thing. I like this. This could be very useful for, you know, maybe a little maze thing, or more likely maybe you're near an orchard or in some fields where there's some crops. A lot of little nice uses for stuff like that. And we have some lovely chained up barriers. The old spiked pits would go along great with those. And we have some just normal old fencing, which could be useful in any number of farmlands, or as I said before, here I'm clearing out one of the spaces there so we can fit the fences in there without bending anything. Just trying to do a little bit of Tetris here, make sure everything fits together quite nicely. Let's take a closer look at some of those wall pieces. Very nice. Now, I thought at first these were supposed to be kind of like hastily made up palisades, but they have like kind of plants growing on them, so I guess these are supposed to be representative of like just maybe like a village wall or something like that. They're pretty low, so maybe this is just kind of like a wall that like a, you know, maybe a peasant would build around their little hovel. Maybe a little bit of a wrecked area there, which is nice. Always helpful. And we have a corner piece here in case you want to make a little kind of a squared walled off area in front of a building maybe. Lots of excellent pieces. The more I think about it, the more I can think of several uses for those, so. And finally, the cart, which was squooshed up. Now, obviously, I don't think I'm going to actually try to fit this in the case as we go on, but some really hot boiling water, and you can see the wheel just kind of bends right back into place. So you're going to want to leave it in there for a long time. I was just kind of showcasing this, that's why I pulled it out right away. But if you're going to do the hot water trick, it really helps if you leave it in there for like a solid minute. If you do it like any less, there's a chance that the hot water will fix it temporarily and then it'll bend back. You want to leave it in there for at least a full minute in very, very hot water. And then if you let that cool down or put it in some ice water afterwards, it should keep the original shape. See, I'm kind of poking and prodding a little bit. That helps a little bit too, if you want to kind of reform stuff a little bit. But yeah, no, I was really surprised. This similar PVC material, it was a little bit stiffer than bones. I didn't think the hot water trick would work as well as it did. And finally, we have the little horse guy that goes with that wagon. Excellent in scale with 28mm. And we have some various goods that could be put on the wagon or, you know, just around town. I love little bits of scenery like this. And we're just going to slam that back shut. And there we have it, folks. We have our little farmer guy here with some of the barricades and apparently a dead horse in the background. An excellent selection of little pieces you can add to various scenarios. They paint up really well. This is a very, very quick paint job. I ended up deciding trying to not prime this stuff. Instead, I used a bunch of Krylon UV-resistant clear matte varnish to finish this off. And as you can see, it worked out pretty good. It seemed to keep up with handling pretty well, and frankly, with the base tone of that wood color, even if it does chip off a little bit, frankly, I don't think anybody, including you, will notice. So this is the Kickstarter set, and overall I found this to be a very good value. You will have to make your own determination whether or not any of these sets will fit in well with your games. I like the fact that Mantic has given us the choice of picking and choosing what little bits and pieces we might like for our own table. Mantic does have an Amazon site, so I will leave a link to that in the description. You know, as a person who runs a lot of D&D games, I'm really happy that a lot of companies are starting to put out very specific products out there that DMs can use to enhance their games. What are your thoughts on this matter? Please let me know in the comments below.
Oh yeah, I found a chicken.